Hello, it's me again. So today I'm going to be talking about how we're going to live on Mars. I'll be talking about things such as what our houses are will be like, whether we live underground or not. Just general stuff about houses on Mars. These are all crucial details that I will try to answer from my limited knowledge. Please do understand that my knowledge has come from articles and YouTube videos, so I may have some outdated information. We will most probably live underground or in 3D printed houses above the ground. I won't talk too much about the 3D printed houses. I will talk a bit about it later on, but I do recommend looking it up on Google. This is a picture of the 3D printed house. Living underground would provide shelter from harmful radiation and will reduce the chance of cancer. A lot of radiation passes through Mars's atmosphere because it doesn't have a magnetic field. We could perhaps make a better magnetic field, which I may talk about in another video, but for now, just know that Mars has a weak magnetic field, which leads to more radiation. Scientists argue that houses above the surface are just dangerous as a whole. It's not safe for people to be there. Therefore, living underground is preferred. Living underground would also give us protection from volcanoes and meteorite attacks. We could use Mars's natural resources to build a home, like basalt. Transporting resources to and from Mars to Earth will be painstakingly hard, and therefore it is best to utilize the resources that we already have on Mars. This will save shipping costs and overall help the funding. So, I want you to think of the typical things that we have in a house. A typical house on Mars would consist of a bedroom, a lab, for the first houses in Mars at least, a home garden, a living room, a kitchen, a dining room, and a bathroom. These are all the things that are needed for now. There might be more things, but these are the crucial things. More might come up later on. I suggest having a garden maintained by bots as they will effectively water them and put just enough nutrients on your plate.
The labs will be for early settlers so that we can actually understand stuff on Mars.
Home gardens will be run by robots. They will water it constantly and will plow them. I suggest having the garden somewhere secure so that rebellions don't start on food. Obviously, this is a very dystopian topic, but I do think that it is appropriate to talk about rebellions. It's probably not something that we have to worry about for the first century at least, considering that most of the people who go there are going to be scientists and engineers and architects and stuff like that. The living room will be a place for the overworked Martians to lounge and entertain themselves. They'll be provided with books and a TV that'll keep them up to date on Mars events. In fact, it may even have just general, I don't know, movies and stuff like that, because the psychology and mental well being of these Martians is crucial. It may seem like
They don't need television or entertainment sources, but it is actually very important because the psychology of the astronauts is crucial for the mission.
news on Mars, what the temperature is, what recipes there are going to be today, and random stuff like that. Also, I talked about the 3D houses before. So these are the 3D houses. NASA hosted a building competition in that a company called AI Space Factory created a house entirely out of 3D printing. This house you see is made out of a 3D printer. That's amazing. And in fact, it's made out of basalt. And basalt is extremely common on Mars. It's everywhere. It's ubiquitous. So it's the ideal material for creating these type of houses. And I love this kind of house because this is just a rough design. If you go to Google, you're gonna see much more cooler and utopian ideas. And it may seem like this is just someone's drawing or someone's art, but this has actually been implemented and this has actually been done. I 100% do recommend checking it out. There's so many cool things I cannot fit them into one video. AI devices will be needed to build a house. It has multiple floors, windows, and even a skylight. And it would be very easily transportable because you could just break this house down, move it somewhere else, and then build it again. There is more to this that I'm sure that I don't know much about, but I 100% recommend looking into this. In fact, they were paid money to work more on this, so I think that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's food on Mars. Since food on Mars was a pretty short topic, I'm also going to be talking about clothing on Mars. So what will the people on Mars wear? Well, they certainly won't wear normal Earth clothing. The cold and pressure will cause the people to have their blood boil. Literally, they will implode and implode. There aren't many solutions, unfortunately. One option is to always wear spacesuits outside. These are normal clothes, sorry. One option would be to wear spacesuits outside, which would be very uncomfortable. It would be a huge nuisance, and we couldn't wear them indoors. Look at how the spacesuit's kind of connected to the house, so the interior of the house remains airtight, and therefore we wouldn't let our precious oxygen leave our homes. So before that, let's go off topic for a second. What if someone did accidentally let the oxygen loose? Well, the oxygen would obviously blow away. How would we restore the oxygen? It could threaten the lives of them. So this would be hard, but not too hard. There is a system that NASA scientists have created called MOXIE, which is a Mars Oxygen ISRU experiment. I know that's kind of ironic. They have a abbreviation, and it's pretty funny. ISRU is an abbreviation of something. I'm not sure what it is, but it's an abbreviation instead of an abbreviation. So these bots can basically take in carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. They remove the carbon and turn it into oxygen. So we do have a solution. So when I wrote this document in around 2020, it wasn't always the system wasn't always, that stable. But now in 2021 and moving on, our technology will be more advanced and we'll be able to get better working machines. In fact, they'll be able to do it almost 100% of the time. However, constant checkups would have been made. I would assume that it will be placed systematically around laboratories, or maybe even the ice caps. So let's get back to talking about clothing. David Newman's Biosuit can help us with a clothing option. This is it. I don't really think that it's very fashionable, but this is a cheap, fashionable alternative to wearing a big spacesuit inside the houses. So it was made with the advice of this guy called Paul Webb. And the idea is to first use the biosuit sleeves with built-in sensors on the legs to measure movements, to understand, this is an example, the motion and stuff. And this is the clothing we're going to be wearing. There's humongous scientific backing to it. And once again, like always, please look this up. It's called the Biosuit, and it's by David Newman. And guys, that should be it. It was a pretty small, short and small video. I hope you enjoyed, and
And have a great day.